Well, how about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. In our last video, I mentioned that I was excited about something, and I was going to try to share it in our next video, and that's going to be all about this buck, and hopefully where we're taking him, we're going to be bringing something back today. But let me get him caught first. We're going to put him in the truck, haul him down the road. We got about a 30-minute ride, and then whenever I get him loaded up, I'll explain some things about him. And actually, let me flip the camera around. We'll talk about him now because there's something I want to show you. So this little buck right here is our last buckling that we have from the 2022 kidding season out of our Kiko buck Clyde. Everything else got castrated. I tried raising out a couple more that I just didn't turn up the way I want. And so I went ahead and castrated them. This is the only one I left intact. This guy has stayed healthy. Growing up, he's about 7-8 months old now, something around there. He's really nice. He's growing really well. Parasite resistance, his eyes look really good for his FAMACHA score. Never had to deworm him. His feet looks good. This buck right here is what I'm trying to produce in the future. If I can get a whole kid crop of this guy right here, I'd be a happy man. This is something that we've been trying to get to for a couple years now. We're still not there. We got some nice doelings in the herd. We got some nice steer goats that we didn't even try to raise out as bucks, but I like to raise one or two out every year to see how they turn out. So this is one of the ones I picked this year. He has grown really well. Like I said, he's 75% Kiko and 1/4% boar. If you remember our early videos, his granddad is going to be Sheriff, our old boar buck that we used to have for a while. And then Clyde's his dad, and his mom is a commercial Kiko. So we're going to call him 75% Kiko and 25% boar. But this deal has actually been trying to get done for about 2 weeks. Right before I pulled my bucks out for breeding season, this guy got injured. I don't know if one of the other bucks rammed him or he was on one of these old pieces of equipment out here and got hung up. I don't know, but one of his back legs, I think it's the back left, he kind of favors a little bit. He's getting a whole lot better. I've been honest with the guy about it. So we're going to take him down the road, let the guy check him out, see what he thinks about him, and see if we can work out some deal. Let me get him loaded up, and I'll explain why I'm considering the Spanish nannies. I'm going to attempt to try to film catching them. I don't have a catch pin really set up right here. I've got a shepherd's crook. I doubt I'll get this on camera, but let's see if we can get it done. Not gonna work. So we got the big guy loaded up. We're about to hit the road. We got about a 30-minute drive. I'm running a little bit behind. So I'm gonna go ahead and get him down there. I don't know how much filming I'm gonna do down there. I kind of know this guy, but I don't really know him that well. So I doubt I'll break the camera out a bunch. Might try to get a couple clips here and there. But we'll get down there. If we work out a deal and we bring some Spanish nannies home, I will explain why we're doing it and what the pros are and what the potential cons are, I guess, of the Spanish does. So we'll get him on down the road. The guy likes him. Hopefully we're going to be bringing 2 Spanish doelings home. Well, we made a deal. Let me get these girls unloaded and we'll talk about them. Yeah. Get on. Yeah. So it's the next morning now. We're starting to run out of daylight yesterday afternoon, and I wanted to give some time to talk about these Spanish does and to talk about why we even have them here. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. They look like they got settled in last night, kind of joining the herd. Still a little leery there off by themselves when I pulled up this morning. But I guess the reason we got Spanish does is because I'm kind of curious about them. I've read a lot about Spanish goats. They kind of resemble a Kiko if you read up on them. They're going to be a little bit smaller frame than a Kiko, but they carry a lot of the same traits for as parasite resistance, good hooves, good mothering abilities, and all those good things. They're kind of raised like the Kiko breed for as just being put out in the wilderness and forced to survive. The weak ones died, the strong ones stayed around, and that's why you have the genetics that you have now. I did a little bit of reading on them this morning. Just so I knew what I was talking about during the video. I've read about them before. But basically the Spanish brought them to the US, I think in the 1600s, and pretty much put them in Texas and on the rough, arid land, and left them and rounded them up every once in a while and used them as a meat source. They were into the #1 meat source for the US until the Boer goats were brought in the late 1900s. So that's kind of the history of them a little bit, and we're just going to see if they fit into our operation. I'm a little nervous about body size. Right now they're the same size as our doelings, but typically they're a little bit smaller body size, which is not a huge concern to me. A lot of our does are on the smaller side, so it could potentially work out for us and just add some better genetics to our herd. I think the guy told me this group the does that he has, and maybe the buck too, came from Missouri, from a good bloodline. Their parents are registered. He didn't have any papers on these, but you know, I don't really care about papers too much anyways. So I think they're going to work out. We're going to hope and pray that they do. Hopefully they add some good parasite resistance to our herd. That's what we're after anyways. And hopefully they're going to get bred by Mr. Thunder. We're going to have some 50% Spanish and 50% Kiko cross, and I'm excited to see what that's going to look like for us. Guess it's time for everybody to go out to graze, but they're going with them. I was really happy with them. I was a little nervous about, you know, I talked to the guy about trading that buck. I was afraid I was going to go down there, and I didn't really like them, but they look fat and healthy. He actually had a group of about 6 of them, and I did pick out the larger 2 of the 6. Yeah, I think he said they were just a little bit older than the others, but I think they're going to fit in here. So at the end of the day, all I'm looking for is a goat that can go out and thrive. I want a nanny goat that can grow, have babies, raise those babies, and have little input from me for, you know, money putting into them on feed or medicine. And if we can find that in a Spanish goat, a Kiko goat, I don't care what breed it is, to be honest. Eventually we want to get to where we're running a good many goats on some land that's, you know, fenced in, a lot of trees and some brush, but no shelter. They need to be able to survive in some pretty rough conditions. And to me, the Kiko and the Spanish both kind of exhibit that. I raised Boer and Boer crosses for years and years, and it just seemed like they were always dying on me. I was always having to give them medicine and a bunch of different things, and I want to get away from that. And if, like I said, if Spanish or Kiko can do that for us, that's what we're going to do. We're still planning on being predominantly Kiko. I want to go with the Kiko bucks for sure. I want a bigger frame goat than what a Spanish typically offers. But like I said, I like mixing it up every once in a while. Some hybrid vigor whenever you're crossing 2 different breeds can produce a lot of good things. I really like a Boer goat on a Kiko. That cross grows really well. But I just don't want to own any Boer goats anymore, to be honest. So we're just going to have to wait and see what these girls can do to our operation. Hopefully they can produce some nice kids that's going to stay in the herd for a long time. And hopefully themselves are going to stay in the herd for a long time. I looked at their eyelids yesterday. They were red as they could be. Both of them are 1x1 teat structure. So they look like some pretty sound young goats. And hopefully Thunder's going to breed them. And we're going to have that Kiko and Spanish cross that I'm curious about. And hope it all works out. But I really appreciate y'all coming along with us as we traded our Kiko cross buck for these 2 Spanish does. I had to throw in a little cash as well, but we got the deal done. They're here at the farm, and hopefully they're going to thrive and make our operation a little bit better. And who knows, maybe we'll get some more Spanish goats one day. But I really appreciate you hanging out with us. This video will be coming out on Thanksgiving, so I really want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with some family and friends. Eat a lot, watch some football, lay around, be lazy. But I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, and we'll see y'all on the next one.